Okay, hello, welcome back. And I know what you're thinking. You're wondering what Brett Kavanaugh has to do with Spider-Man. How is he like Spider-Man? His clothing is very different from Spider-Man. So, I was watching the Kavanaugh hearings, and I noticed something about it, that the hearings, the way people have been reacting to him, and strangely enough, he does seem to have a lot in common. So, if we can take it the same sort of metaphor, take it as a metaphor, Brett Kavanaugh is Spider-Man. The ways, what's been happening with him in the hearings and so on, is very much like Spider-Man. And the media, the people who pretty much basically say, media and senators, people who say things like, well, he doesn't deserve presumption of innocence, he's done something wrong, he's guilty, blah blah blah. They are essentially J. Jonah Jameson. Now, he was initially written, I believe, you know, at least from what I've read, he was meant to be kind of, not exactly conservative, but the, you know, stereotypical worst, really horrible, evil conservative type people. And, you know, in one of the, one of his, what are they called? Broadcasts. We'll just call them broadcasts. In this game, you know, he reflects what might be viewed as like an evil conservative mindset. In that he, talking about Vulture getting, cancer treatment while in prison, very expensive cancer treatment, saying, well, we should just let him die instead of, you know, costing taxpayer monies. Now, it's a very complex issue because, you know, that money could be going somewhere to people who haven't broken law and done horrible things. But on the other hand, should we really let a person die when we could, you know, even if it's expensive, we could help save him? So, you know, but the whole let him die thing, that's kind of how a lot of liberals view conservatives. But I've found, strangely enough, that what J. Jonah Jameson says in this is remarkably similar to what liberals have been saying about Brett Kavanaugh. So we'll kind of stop here in the classic suit, and let's head over. And I'll just play a couple of these and see whether you agree or disagree with me. I have a recording of all of his podcasts. I'm sure that says something about me. So, we'll do this one. So, in one of the side quests in the game, Spider-Man discovers that there's these toxins in the air, and he has to go out and kind of find the source and take samples of them. So he goes through and swings through the smog with the samplers to take the sample. And this is how J. Jonah Jameson responded to that.
Has anyone else heard reports of Spider-Man literally seeking out clouds of smog to swing through? Is this the behavior of a sane individual? I'll tell you what I think is going on here. When I was a lad, there was a problem with juvenile delinquents sniffing glue to get high. Knowing Spider-Man's weak moral character and thrill-seeking personality, I'd guess the same principle is at work here. But inhaling toxic substances also damages the brain, which actually explains a lot about Spider-Man. He's swinging through the city hopped up on smog!
So yeah, this reminded me of what was released actually just today, when Brett Kavanaugh went into the defense thing. He was very, very upset about basically the whole allegations, how it's affected his family and stuff like that, and he responded accordingly. And, you know, most people who watched it, who, you know, basically said, okay, yeah, this is a normal, natural response. He has a right to be upset, especially if he's innocent of these crimes. He has very much a right to be upset. But the media responded with, oh my gosh, we can see how he could have done these horrible, horrible crimes. I mean, geez, this is not the actions of somebody who is in his position. And that's kind of this is, no matter what you do, you always upset J. Jonah Jameson. Here's another fun little J. Jonah comment.
Folks, you've heard me express grave concerns about the risk to civil liberties posed by the police department's crime system and their omnipresent towers. but at least the intention is to stop crimes. Now, recently, Spider-Man has been seen tampering with these very towers, and it's reasonable that my loyal listeners suspect he is disabling the towers so he can commit his unlawful misdeeds with impunity. But Spider-Man is not your ordinary run-of-the-mill menace. Oh, he's a 12th level Kung Fu master, 50 moves ahead menace, which is why I think he's actually hacking into these towers to spy on you and me. Your only defense? Listen to my show. All the time. If he's gonna spy on us, let him hear that we're on to him. By listening to me. Every waking moment.
So, doesn't, that sound reasonable? Not the end bit where you should constantly listen to him, but the first part is like, Spider-Man's doing some suspicious stuff. Yeah, he's right. He's probably hacking in. He's probably doing stuff. Well, if you've played the game, or if you haven't, or just seen the gameplay, you'll realize that Spider-Man's actually was bringing these towers back online. That's one of the side quests that you get. So, yeah, and that's essentially what I've been hearing from a lot of the media who've talked about Brett Kavanaugh. It's, he's obviously done something horribly, horribly wrong. You should listen to my show. But, far be it for me to say that someone like J. Jonah Jameson is never wrong. He can be wrong at times. And this is him, very humbly on his show, admitting he was wrong.
One thing even my detractors have to say about J. Jonah Jameson. I admit when I'm wrong. And while I hoped his efforts in the recent crisis meant Spider-Man was finally becoming a responsible citizen, a mature adult, I am here to confess I was wrong. I wanted to believe. I hoped it was true. But even a stop clock is right twice a day. And I guess curing the plague was Spider-Man's stop clock moment.
So, there you have it. And there's one final reason I think he's pretty much, or makes a good metaphor for Brett Kavanaugh and J. Jonah Jameson for the media. So, for those of you unfamiliar with it, J. Jonah Jameson is pretty much the original opponent to Spider-Man. He appeared in Spider-Man's second ever storyline. I mean, just right after the person who killed Uncle Ben, it's J. Jonah Jameson. And, so what happened in that storyline, Spider-Man tries to earn some money to help support his aunt by doing tricks and stuff as Spider-Man while still, going out and stopping crime. But J. Jonah Jameson took it into his head to basically say, oh, he's a menace, he's a threat, he's a danger, based on no evidence. And then as, so Spider-Man, tries to kind of prove him wrong, tries to prove his worth. And ends up in a situation where J. Jonah's son was threatened, and Spider-Man went out of his way, risked his own life in a very dramatic fashion to save his J. Jonah Jameson's son. And John Jameson. And he did. He did a really good job in saving him. He thought, finally, he will. At least he'll see that I'm not this threat or menace. And to his surprise, in the next edition, J. Jonah Jameson demanded that Spider-Man be arrested. And he listed all these things that he had done, but viewed in the light of, here's someone who's committing a crime. He took a jet when he wasn't supposed to. He did all this, he did all that. And, yeah, so that's really just reminds me straight up of the Kavanaugh hearings, because no matter what he does, he can't convince people he's not done anything wrong. There's no physical evidence that proves he's done something wrong. There's nothing, basically, yeah, there's nothing that would apply in a court of law, and really, there's nothing that should apply in the court of public opinion. People should, look at it and keep an open mind, but unfortunately, a lot of people are saying he's automatically guilty. No matter what he does, he's guilty. He did something wrong. And I don't think you can think of a better way to describe the relationship between Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson than look at the relationship between Brett Kavanaugh and the media. So anyway, that's just my personal take on this. Like and subscribe if you like it, and I will see you in the next video. Wait, let's get a dramatic looking out over the raft. Anyway, bye.